All right, we got the partner consultant here about silver. And the one thing with silver, basically, time is on her side. No matter how you look at it, time is on her side. You don't want to be holding a paper because paper never lasts forever. Silver lasts forever. But that being said, I know there's been a long correction period, but there's a few things on the horizon. The one thing I was thinking about was Israelis. I don't know if they did it or not. It looks like they did it. Strike on Syria. Yeah, I don't know if they're not saying it officially, but we can all assume Israel did strike on Syria. Now we do know that Syria is the way has to topple first. I'm just saying this in reality, not playing politics here. Is it morally right, morally wrong? I'm not saying that, but it's related to silver because tensions in the Middle East are greatly influential on the price of silver. Many times, if there's a lot of tensions in the Middle East, there's uncertainty. People run to gold, people run to oil, and when oil's in a hard bull run, silver goes in a hard bull run. That's one reason it could happen at one point in time. It's not going to be like the day something happens and war breaks out someplace in the Middle East, silver's going to rise immediately. It might fall down a little bit first. It may, along with the stock market and everything else. But it'll take off all of a sudden after. You'll see gold and oil. Well, oil will probably fly up immediately. But it looks like, according to like scuttlebutt, if you want to call it that, rumor mill, probably good information rumor mill though, that the United States wasn't consulted before the attack. Israel did that strike against Syria, which I think they're not going to be consulted if they did a strike against Iran. I'm not sure if they're going to go that far right away, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And that's why your metals are going to be your safety. Do you know when it's going to happen? Does anybody know exactly when it's going to happen? There's been a lot of times it's been on edge. There's a 50-50 chance Israel will strike Iran, or the U.S. Obama will strike Iran, to consolidate his power, because there's never been a sitting president in a wartime that lost an election. That was one theory out there, right? But it didn't occur, did it? But, it's a little common sense says it is going to occur. And, I think Israel doesn't want to tell the Obama administration anything because they're afraid of what's going to leak out. You got Valerie Jarrett there, like the top advisor that pretty much screens everybody that goes to see Obama. And then you got Brzezinski in there, right? Pretty much, very much anti-Israeli, as far as I could tell. So they're not going to say anything. Now, there's been this has a lot to do with silver, believe me. And, I'm going to put this other thing out here before I get on with some of the other stuff with, Israel and stuff, what's going on, they could possibly attack. But, if you think silver's going to go way down, also, it's not like a perfect one-to-one correlation, but in a way, there's a general linking between all the prices of commodities. If you think gasoline is going to go down below $2 a gallon or $1.50 a gallon, I guess silver can go to $12 to $15 an ounce. I mean, that's really what would happen. I mean, it's not like there's some kind of real hardcore link there, but there is an indirect way. I mean, we'd have to see such a deflation in all the commodity prices, but I don't see that happening. Actually, you're going to see a lot of commodities start to rise again. This was a very temporary pullback. And as I mentioned, why did food commodities? I mean, I know you can find select areas in the United States and in the world where food was abundant, but food is actually in very low productivity right now. Basically, the supply of food is actually lower than it's been in quite some time because of all the droughts that occurred in Russia, in the United States, in Australia, in Argentina. And actually, Argentina is actually, I'm going to mention something real quick about Argentina. Argentina actually is on the verge of serious hyperinflation, like the worst they've ever had, which is just really bad. And, they experienced a drought. I think, see, this doesn't make sense with all the commodities pulling back. I'm not even looking at the metals. I'm looking at food. I don't know why food, the price of corn dropped like this and stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. It doesn't reflect reality. Now, I know, silver is not really in short supply globally. There's a shortage of silver at the end product coins. That's where there's a shortage of silver. It's not like the whole silver in the world is running out, but there is a lot of buying pressure still coming from the coin sector. And I think somehow there's a market manipulation somehow going on that are actually pumping up the actual equities markets and holding down the commodities. I don't think it's going to continue like that for very long. And it may be a method to the madness, or why that's being done that way. Because a real insider right now would be buying up, I would think, in my opinion, would be buying up commodities right now. Because what it smells like to me is that there's going to be an attack on Iran, or something's going to happen in the Middle East with Syria. There'll be more tensions in the Middle East. Whether it's not Iran, it's Syria or something. Or maybe someplace else. Maybe even like Saudi will have internal tensions or whatever. And that's going to bring up the price of oil, gold, and also silver. That's what happens. It doesn't necessarily even have to be an attack on Iran. Now, I know that the United States has demonstrated a new bunker buster to Israel that has demonstrated more capability than in the past, and they're trying to convince. So this is according to the article I read. I forgot where I read somebody. I read articles all day, all the time. And even while I'm working out on an elliptical machine. But what happens is they want to convince Israel that they have the capability to take out Iran's nuclear program at any time, for them not to jump the gun on it or do anything, because it can be taken care of at any time. That was the whole idea behind demonstrating this bunker buster. But, I don't know. I mean, actually, Netanyahu, if he had his way, Iran would have already been attacked last year. And, from what I understand, and, from what articles I read, it looks like Syria, when they were attacked by Israel, there was no consulting done to, the United States. It just went ahead. So, I just want to point something else out, too. You're looking back at some of the characters in the political world, like Al Gore, who's a total environmentalist. Supposedly his net worth has probably went up to about $200 to $250 million, because he netted $70 million in current TV sale to Al Jazeera, which was basically a big gain right there. I think he made out on some Apple stock and things like that. So his net worth for being one of these green environmentalists is pretty close to the same, or around the same, as Mitt Romney. So they all belong to the club. That's really what it goes on. But don't be afraid about holding silver right now. I don't know if it's going to continue to go down. I've got doubts on that. I got doubts on that, because it's like, do I expect every commodity in the world? Do I expect gasoline to go to $2 a gallon or below? Do I expect when you walk in the store, food prices are going to start dropping by 30-40%? No, I don't. I know also when Bernanke prints money and does QE, there's other things going on. It's not like he's totally adding to the money supply, because as you're doing QE, what actually happens too at the same time is that other debts are maturing and the debts are being destroyed. So that's another side of the equation. So it's not like sometimes the silver bulls and the gold bulls will tell you, oh, the QE. If the silver bulls and the gold bulls were smart, they would have been lobbying Ben Bernanke instead of criticizing him. Even if they weren't having to pay him money, they should have been applauding his efforts about managing the economy. Silver's doing great. It's up to $47. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. You're very great. You're right on track. I mean, that's what I've been telling him, Anyway, I want to show something. Actually, I'm wearing 2 silver chains now. I was wearing a gold chain. I still got my gold chain, but I wear silver now. And I also have like the symbol of Aries on it. Aries being the month, the symbol when David conquered Goliath back in the ancient times, Aries. So we're going to use a little bit of magical symbols, and this is my other one. So you got the seeing eye here, the bloodstone, and all that type of stuff. And I'm going to actually, at the end of this, I'm going to show you the back side of that astrological watch that I have. And it's got some pretty cool symbols on it. I'm going to re-show that because I don't want to make a separate video on it or anything like that. But I thought that was an interesting watch. I remember one time I was looking around for something like that and I couldn't find it. And I've never worn it. It actually still has the plastic on the back too. It's like brand new, original leather band and all that type of stuff. I don't know what the hell it's worth. I didn't pay some big bucks for it, but it was very, very unusual. But I do expect that, you know, Aries, the symbol of war, and also the symbol where David, the time when David conquered Goliath, that's going to be very symbolic for silver. Silver actually is, I think it's going to go up unexpectedly. And you really can't predict the events of what's going to happen in the Middle East. You know, pretty obvious to anybody, it's the most unpredictable place there is. It's usually when people are talking the most about what happened and this is going to happen, that's when something doesn't happen. When people are pretty silent about it, that's when something's going to happen. And you can apply that same type of logic to the metals. Everybody right now is thinking silver could possibly go down to 20, 15, 12, all these different prices like that. You know, the sentiment has gotten so bearish, you'd almost think it's going to go up now. That's my suspicion. So anyway, stay tight, and you know, we can also use the symbol of Aries, the war god, against the banksters. So stay with your silver. Stay with your silver all the way. That's all I got to say, and I'll show you with the back and front of that astrological watch, which is very unusual in my opinion. Okay, this is the back side of the watch. You can see the symbology on it. It's pretty wild, actually, to tell you the truth. In the red stripe on there is actually from the plastic, so it's never really been worn. Even though I don't know how old this thing is, it's not like a really expensive watch, but it's extremely unusual. So that's the back side of the watch, and again, that's the front side. So you can see, you know, the symbology on it. It's pretty wild, man. Surprising they don't make more of these. I think they would sell.